that's probably all I'm going to say about this application. One of the things that you should realize is that there's been a lot of thought and effort and improvements in this product over the last couple of years. Most of it is making it very idiot-proof and very error-proof, anticipating the silly things that happen. You know, that you trip over the cord and the hard disk, you know, is no longer available to the computer while it's making a copy. What do you do? You know, things like that. Were there any questions about that?
Anybody got any questions?
Is this just another version of log and transferring?
The question is this just another version of log and transfer?
No, this is actually a copy utility, so it's very specific. It's more like Finder. It's making the copies from point A to point B and doing it in the most efficient manner and giving you a verification, that insurance that you actually all got there, and it exactly matches the original. If you did things, I guess I should talk about that a little bit. If you're using Finder to copy off a hard disk from one to another, yeah, it launches a thing and does it. You know, it shows you, hey, I'm copying this, but if there's an error, you'll never know it. And I probably get a call a week from people that are panicking, trying to resurrect footage that was damaged during transfer like that. That it didn't get all the files, or some of them didn't match the originals for whatever reason. The hard disk they were putting it on was full, and it didn't tell them that, so it only copied part of it. You know, all sorts of things can happen. So a verification process like this is very important. This product will do a copy faster than Finder, than Explorer, than anything else you can find, partly because we're doing all those multi-threading things, but also because if I make two copies, for example, this app is smart enough to only read the card once and make two copies at the same time, so it doesn't have to go back like Finder and reread the card for the second copy. So this is not a viewer. This is simply moving it from point A to point B.
Yeah, you get large multi-gigabit files when you're doing HD footage. That's a big deal.
Right, and especially when it's telling you how long it's going to take. You know, if I've got a 64 gig card, you know, it could take half an hour, could take even longer, depending on the speed of things. So it's kind of important to tell you how long it's going to take and when's a good time to come back to check on it. This application, by the way, is $99. It's sold as a single CPU license, meaning that's $99 per computer. You can move it to from computer to computer by deactivating on one and activating on another. And the same serial number will work for Mac or Windows. One of the other apps that's very popular right now is our Proxy Mill, and I'm going to close my iSight camera because I'm not sure if that'll goof up things here. But this application looks somewhat similar, but it's more like a compressor or a Sorensen squeeze or something like that, where it's designed to make or transcode HD files into other types of video files. What's neat about this is it's a watch folder technology, meaning that you can set up various folders of ones I want to watch, you know, where files are coming into, and when they show up, copy them or not copy them, transcode them, and put them in other places. So it can work at the same time as shotput. So you can have realistically set up shotput to be copying to a hard disk, for example, an external hard disk, and point Proxy Mill to that same location, so it's watching that offload location, and as files finish, then it'll take off and start making your proxies. proxies, by the way, are kind of a misnomer or misname. This will do any sort of file type that you want. You can make it very small, very large. You can transcode from AVCHD into ProRes, for example. There's a lot of ways to output from here.
Will it work with the new Lightroom 3?
Couldn't hear the question.
What's it?
Will it work with the new Lightroom 3?
Will it work with the new Lightroom?
Lightroom?
Lightroom's for photos, not videos.
They started with the videos.
Oh, did they? What format are they?
They're mainly viewing. It's not, they're going to go a little bit further with it. The Lightroom uses a watch folder.
Okay, Lightroom uses a watch folder. I guess the new version of Adobe Lightroom
So like if,
will handle videos.
yeah, one of the things, you can send it to like a Flickr account, and then if somebody comments on your Flickr, it'll send it back to Lightroom.
Okay. So he's saying, you like with Flickr, you can download something into Lightroom and then it'll upload it into Flickr. With video, I think you probably would want to edit it first before you send it out to Vimeo or YouTube or something. But
I could comment on your photo. I could say nice movie film that you sent, and then it automatically goes back. So would that be just saving it again?
Yeah, I don't think that what this is for, correct me if I'm wrong, Dan, but what this is for is you'll offload a P2 file or something from like Canon 7D or an AVC HD, and you don't want to work with the full res in your timeline. You want to work with a proxy, a lower res proxy, because it runs faster. And so this will generate your proxies for you right when you offload. So then when you're editing in your timeline, you're not working with the full res, you're working with a proxy, and you don't need to go to your full res until you burn your final piece. I mean,
that's one workflow with it, yeah. I mean, you can also, this application outputs Final Cut Pro XMLs. So, for example, you can bring in Canon files and have it add the time codes to the movie files and output Final Cut Pro lists, the metadata. So, or a better example would be P2 material. I can tell it to create Final Cut Pro lists or XMLs with the proxies, for example, instead of the high-res material. I think that's what you were talking about. And the XML is going to, suck all the metadata out of the P2 information and use that for passing to the editor.